Okay, can you hear me? Hopefully, hopefully you can. I had a lot of technical difficulty tonight. I apologize for that. Let me send a note here to Rob. I was about to just record the unboxing and load it, but I think I've got it working now. One of you guys would let me know, say something in the chat so I can tell if you can hear me all right. Yeah, and I'm terribly sorry. I seem to run into all kind of technical issues. I even tested everything this afternoon, but still had issues. So let me. But I do appreciate you being here, and I appreciate your patience. Let me just say a welcome to everyone, and we're going to get to this unboxing here. So, hello, Jeff. Again, I'm sorry for the delay. I'm going to make sure the others know I'm in here. Okay, let's get started. We've been delayed long enough. I'm going to, hello, Peter. I'm going to cut this tape here. There we go. Now I'm going to have to check and make sure there's no personal information in this box. One moment. Let me just take my personal information out of here. Let's set this back. And let's move the box out of the way. This is 17 notes that I sent in for grading back in December. These were mailed December the 15th, and I got them back today. There we go. Just getting the plastic wrap off here. Okay. Now, that wasn't meant as a criticism. I did send these in economy. So that is the least expensive, and it takes the longest time to get them back. So I am a satisfied customer, so don't take that as criticism. But I did mail them December 15th, and I got them back today. So that was about what I expected, honestly, about 3 months. This is a beauty. This is a remainder note from the State Bank of Michigan. And what color we have. This one came back a 61 PPQ. So I guess they didn't like the way the note was framed, I guess, but I think it's pretty. What do you guys think? Of course, nothing on the back, no notes. What a beautiful note. Hey, Big Apple, thanks for joining us. Sorry again for the delay. Blame it on me. This technical problems. This $10 note is from the Bank of the State of South Carolina. You've got John C. Calhoun on the left and Thomas Jefferson on the right. So you have someone from the state and someone from the national side on this note. It's got a beautiful red ornate overprint. Check out those ships in the center. It's a really nice note. This came back as a 25, which if you know a lot about obsolete notes and or especially circulated obsolete notes, it's kind of hard to get a 25 in the circulated. I don't think there are any notes on this either. So nice note. This next note is from the Bank of Georgetown. This over here. It features then president over here on the left, Franklin Pierce. And the goddess of agriculture and growth, Sears, in the center there, and a random lady on the right. Very nice color, yes. I see someone says very nice color. It certainly is that. These notes are quite common. They're not expensive. You usually can pick them up for under $100. Again, nothing on the back, so no notes. I'm actually seeing these myself for the first time. Again, I'm very happy to get a 20 on this note. Next up, I'm going to switch these next two notes because I promised you a 200-year-old note. So here's the first one. It's on the Bank of Chirac, issued in the 1820s. This note is over 200 years old. It's kind of hard to see the details, I know that, but this is Benjamin Franklin over here on the left, Washington's on the right, and Washington on horseback here in the center. These notes are pretty rare. I've only been able to locate about 15 of these through researching um, the different auction houses. Now, of course, that doesn't mean I found them all. I'm sure there are a number of them held in private collections, but probably not a large number. I'd be surprised if there's more than 25 or 30 of these things. This is a very rare note, very rare note. Staying in the same town but a different bank, this is a much later bank from the 1850s, about 30 years later. This is the Merchants Bank of South Carolina from Chirac. Chirac is a small town in South Carolina. And this one has that beautiful green overprint. And I believe that's industry and agriculture here in the center. There were a lot of allegorical figures and Greek and Roman goddesses used at that time on currency. This one graded a very fine 20. Again, I'm very happy with the grade. You don't see the 20s as much. You see the $5 notes from this bank quite often, but you don't see the 20s as often. Moving on here to another very old note, different city. We're now in the city of Hamburg, South Carolina. This is a city that actually no longer exists, and I'll be talking about that, and I'll be talking about all these notes in future videos. I'm working on putting together sort of a handbook of all of the obsolete banks in South Carolina, and I'm planning to release that as a free download, so stay tuned for that. I think it's amazing a note this old, over 200 years old, is still here and in as good a shape as it is. Now, this one got a details grade, but who's surprised at that? You've got some ink erosion and some tape repairs. My goodness. It's a wonder it's still here. That Benjamin Franklin over here on the left and Washington on the right. And I'm not sure who that is in the center, but we'll find out in the next video, maybe. Let me take a look here at the chat. I want to thank everybody for being here. I see Maple Leaf and Dean and Retired Navy Rob and Jeff Davis and Big Apple. We've got a really good crowd here. Thank all of you again for being here. Let's keep going. Here's another wonderful note from the Planters and Mechanics Bank, Charleston. This one has a beautiful eagle in the center, sort of Greek Roman medallion heads on either side. If you look right in the center, the bottom, Arm and Hammer. This one's dated 1850. It's got a little edge damage, but you don't see notes from this bank as often either. This is a little bit better note. Again, I'm very happy to get a 20 on this. Very happy to get that. Here's another note from the same bank. This you have, I believe they call that, look at my notes here, It says Columbia seated by globe with eagle. That's from the Whitman Encyclopedia of Obsolete Notes. So we'll go with that. Got the old locomotive over here on the left with the 5 overprints. I like the dog on the bottom down here. That's kind of nice. Again, this is not a note you see various. It's not as common. It's a little less common. This is from the People's Bank, also of Charleston. A lot of Charleston tonight. The cattle, the central vignette. Since dated 1854, it's got the ornate 5 overprint. And Christopher Miminger, I always have a hard time saying his name, is the portrait. He was the Confederate Secretary of the Treasury. So he makes an appearance on this note. And next, we have a note from the Exchange Bank of Columbia. Again, with the red overprint. This one with, of course, Calhoun's smiling face over here on the left. And let me see. Let's see. Liberty seated with shield and eagle on this one. That's what they say that central vignette is. I'll take their word for it. Again, another nice 20 on this note. Yes, the overprints are good. This one says minor stains and small edge tear. Well, if you realize how thin this paper is, it's a wonder it isn't more than that. Here we have another note from the same bank. This is a $20 bill. This is Faith, Hope, and Love over here on the left. I believe the center again is, yes, Liberty seated. And on the right-hand side, you have a former senator and governor. His last name is McDuffie. I believe that's correct. Let me double check that. Yes. And I don't think he had, or rather, I think he had passed away, a short time before this note was printed. So I think it's to honor him as well. Now, we've got a really nice note coming up here. You're going to like this color. This is from the Farmers and Exchange Bank of Charleston. Got that beautiful orange tint. I really, really like this note. Got Webster, of course, over here on the right. And get up close here. Hopefully that'll get a little, yeah, that's better. That vignette. That's a steamer being loaded at the dock. And I plan to do more videos about these notes and get more in detail about the vignettes. And I'll go into all those details later. I don't want to make this video too long, but I just love that vignette. It's one of my favorites. And it's on multiple notes as well. What I'm doing this year is getting most of the notes in my collection graded. So that's just my thing. It's not for everybody. I'm not saying everybody should have all their notes graded. That's not what I mean. It's just something I like. So anyway, but that's a real nice note. This one has nothing on the back. There are versions though that have some red sort of scrolls on the back. I'd like to run across one of those one day, but this one does not. Staying with color, this is back in the city of Hamburg. This is a $20 bill. Let's see. That's Liberty and Justice with a state seal, it looks like, between them and an eagle. Also has that overprint, which I like. This is a fairly common note. You see them, you run across them quite often. They're not terribly expensive either. You know, a little bit on either side of $100 usually. They're not they're not terrible. This one is a also graded 20. Now I want you to take a look at this note, and I'm going to show you the next note. And you're probably going to say, "Well, my goodness, you have two of them." Well, not really. This one's counterfeit. See up here, contemporary counterfeit. I knew that when I bought it, and I don't have a lot of space here on the desk, so I don't know if you can tell the difference between the two, but if you look at the faces, mostly on this counterfeit, when I bring it up, the others have a little bit more detail in the face. It looks a little bit different. Also, notice the 20s. This is almost circular on both sides on the counterfeit. Now look at the real one. You see the difference. And these were heavily counterfeited, but the counterfeits are really as collectible as the real ones. So I was glad to find these, pretty close together, and very happy to own these. A lot of fun things when you collect obsoletes. Speaking of another fun thing, I ran across this note on eBay and could have easily overlooked it. Um, but what caught my eye on this note is this note has no overprint. Notes from this bank usually have overprints. This one did not. There's also no state on this note. There should be South Carolina right here under the Bank of Newberry between that and the $5. But there is no state there. It's up here, but not here. So that's what caught my eye. Now, they call this a remainder, and I think it is, but I also think this is a specimen note. I think this is a note that was probably shown to the bank by a salesman, maybe, or this is something we could do for you. In other words, I think this is a pretty rare note. That's one of the reasons I bought it, because I've certainly never seen another one except in the catalog. So anyway, I like the vignette too, sort of the family greeting a train or something of that along those lines. So keep your eyes open. You never know what you might come across. I have several orders with PCGS presently that I should be getting back over the next few months. So I hope to be doing more of these open boxings at a later time. So again, I want to thank all of you for being here. It is kind of difficult when I'm doing this by myself to watch the comments, but I do appreciate you being here. This one, Southwestern Railroad Bank, also of Charleston. See the locomotive from the period. It's kind of nice. I like the tint on this note. But the special thing about this note is it doesn't have any cancellation holes in it. This bank was notorious for putting a lot of holes in the cancellations, or rather in the notes, to cancel them. Let me show you one that does have a lot of holes. This one I haven't even sent in for grading because I don't think I will in this case, because it's just full of holes. That's what you normally see. So you can understand when I find one without the holes, you buy it. So, and we have one last note. This is kind of sort of a repeat. This is another Bank of Hamburg, but this is another 200-year-old note plus note. See, this is graded 1824. Franklin on the left and Washington on the right. Very old note. These notes are very brittle, very easily damaged. And so I was happy to get this one into a holder. It's kind of hard to believe that a note like this has never ended up in a holder. I think it'll be so much better for the note. So Big Apple said it looks like it's yeah, he's talking about this one, I guess. It's been in a shootout. Yeah, it really has. But anyway, South Carolina had 20 banks that issued notes during this period, which is not really a lot. So um, it's been fun putting this together. That's about all I've got tonight. Um, Again, I want to thank all of you for being here and putting up with the delay. Maybe one day I'll learn what I'm doing. So I'm going to close it out here and thank all of you again. Please let your friends know about this video. Please pass it on. Please like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for stopping by. Good night, everybody.